The Real Champion tournament has now finished 3 fights. Gao Lang slayed Dorota in glorious fashion, Justin defeated this goon who went out with a sus smile, and now Kano defeated Julius with absolute domination. Which leaves us with one more fight to conclude round 1, Lo Long versus another new character, Ramon, or potentially not. Apart from that, we got more confirmation that right now we're reaching a new point of Kangen Omega. As previously discussed, due to Shen Wulong now being known to the Kangen Association, pretty much everyone is getting stronger. Even the ones who didn't exactly see him, a rippling effect is occurring across the Kangen world, with Yarn claiming in the most recent chapter, the pebble the connector threw in the water will change the world. With the characters depicted in this panel being important to mention, so we have Ruki and Koga as expected behind Wulong, we have Oma and Kuroki directly looking at him, likewise for Lo Long, Kano and Julius. Apart from that, it looks like we have Okubo and Justin, alongside Carlos and Gao Lang as well, who have been alongside each other these recent few chapters, and will probably remain as such for the upcoming fight. Apart from that, it's not really just the people participating in the tournament or watching this current tournament. We know other characters part of the Kangen Association are actually working and preparing for the upcoming Annihilation tournament, namely Segabahashi, and probably other guys like Wakatsuki with his grand return, at least hopefully. But coming back to what Yarn is saying, he claims here that today marks the anniversary of mankind's evolution. I find it kinda funny that Yarn is talking about evolution, and the chapter that could be pointed to as a big change in the Kangen Omega story, looking at characters getting stronger, also relates to Kanogito demonstrating this evolution and absolutely dominating someone perceived as a top tier as well, Julius, so Kano will always be that guy, that's for sure. But now that their fight is actually over, let's talk a little bit what occurred throughout it. Julius going into it, I was expecting some evolution in his abilities. It seems like he can use his Gotota more freely, and we got various moments where it highlighted that Julius is actually a very smart character and isn't just a musclehead that doesn't think, only relying on his raw strength. He was able to somewhat outplay Kano to a degree, however, it's very clear that the Fang dominated and it wasn't really an insanely difficult fight. Yes, in the most recent chapter and at various points in the previous ones, we had Kazi pretty much giving his props to Julius and explaining that regardless of visible damage, this fight was actually insanely close and that Kano barely won. I would like to say that yes, this is all possible, but I can't agree with this entirely, and I do believe Kano dominated pretty convincingly and it wasn't really that close of a fight. A similar thing could even be said about Gao Lang defeating Dorota. He won without insane difficulty, I'm not gonna lie. But I guess Sandro is still wanting us to view these as high difficulty victories regardless of the specific circumstances and damage sustained throughout the fights. You could also say that a lot of stuff occurring now is once again setting up the potential rematch between Kano and Gao Lang. But before we could get something like that, we have Lo Long vs Ramon next, or potentially not. The conclusion of the most recent chapter was the dude that got slayed by Justin pulling up on Ramon and saying, "Would you be so kind as to let me kill you?" A lot of people pointed out his sus smile after getting defeated, implying that there's something else about him, he has other goals connected to his reason for participating in this tournament, and that may be connected to Ramon right now. My most wanted outcome of this is the next chapter to begin with Lo Long walking out to the arena and then Ramon walking out with potential blood on his arms or something along the line of that. We cut to the room where this guy is dead, absolutely destroyed off screen, something like that, building up this guy as a monster and a worthy challenge to face Lo Long, making their fight pretty interesting. But let me know what you want or think's going to happen down below. When it comes to the fight itself, I do believe Lo Long is going to win for many reasons. I also believe he's going to be the winner of the entire tournament, meaning yes, he's going to defeat Ramon, going to defeat Kano, and based on my predictions is going to defeat Gao Lang in the final. That's what I believe is going to happen. It's not really exactly what I want to happen, it's just what I currently believe when looking at the story right now. Also, considering how much Lo Long really needs to prove, the amount he was hyped during the Purgatory Tournament arc was honestly next level, something far beyond anything else in Kangen so far. You could make the argument that the likes of Shen Wulong is getting hyped now, for good reason, but the hype is a little bit different. We all know Shen Wulong is pretty much untouchable. Lo Long, for the majority of the hype he got during the Purgatory Tournament, was just his fellow Purgatory fighters implying that he's virtually untouchable and having this insane aura about him. Then eventually he demonstrated that he's a monster, dropping Okoye and Nicholas at the same time, and then various other things, for example having over 500 wins, being undefeated, having a clash with Kuroki in the past, and also being a worm killer. Everything was pushing Lo Long up as an absolute monster. To fight Oma and get honestly clapped, yes, the fight should be regarded as a high diff due to Lo Long's fighting style being pretty much a counter to the Nico style, forcing Oma to rely on the Kure Clan techniques and mix up the Nico style in combination with other stuff, for example the quick blitzes of the advance to really have a shot. But again, a lot of people view this as a mid difficulty fight, and at the time people were fairly disappointed with Lo Long's performance and more so his fighting style when looking at his abilities. Sandovich was probably aware of this as well, which could explain why when he released Lo Long's official character profile, he tried to make it very clear that at the time of the Purgatory Tournament, Lo Long, Oma and Ryan should be regarded as equals to one another. And then during the Dorota and Kano fight, we had Oma reminding us that these characters, Dorota, Lo Long, are in the same tier as Kano, and then various other ways to compare Kano to Kuroki, these three pulling up on the worm, stuff like that. A lot of stuff was making it clear that the top tiers are all relative to one another in this regard, which we still need Lo Long to prove himself, but right now he's facing a character we do not know, so it's going to be a little hard to do, giving us another reason to have the story set up Kano vs Lo Long in the next round, which is going to be an insanely wild fight, with these two seeming like they became close friends over the recent time skips, training Koga together and being shown alongside one another quite often. The king of the Kangen matches and the king of Purgatory, pretty fitting. Can't wait for these two to clash and do hope that is the case. Now onto some very good news. The official partner of the channel, Gamersubs, now has one of their biggest sales ever. You can get 10% off any products you buy using my code and discount link in the description, alongside getting free products when buying tubs as shown on screen now, with various tiers and amazing items you guys could get for free. Highly recommend checking it out. And of course, shout out to the official members of the channel, these absolute mad lads. Thanks for all the support. More Kangen content coming. Check out the most recent video going over everything you need to know about the upcoming Kangen Ashura anime season. But that's it guys. Peace.